Hey folks, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. This is another episode of Swatching Sunday. I believe we're up to episode 12 now, and we are just about finished with my second rack of samples. And you see here, we only have 3 more to go. And that means we are going to start on some of my newer samples. I have a whole box of samples that I haven't even taken out of their packaging that they were shipped in. So we're going to swatch these 3, and then I'm going to load up another rack with some more samples. So that'll be very exciting. So let's get started. And I'm not going to forget my little reinforcers this time. These things do stick really well. I'm sorry the other ones don't stick better, because the other ones were, they covered the whole lid. They didn't have a hole in them. So I just felt like I've got a better, swab on those because they didn't have a hole, but they just don't stick. Okay, so our first ink today is Robert Oster Go-Go. I just think that is the coolest name. I forget where I saw this, but I got this sample a while ago. Oh, oops. I like to write the name first. I'm already forgetting. I do this every week, and every week it seems like I'm so out of practice. And where did this come from? Van Ness. Yeah, I know it didn't come from Goulet because you can see how full the sample is. Oh, I really appreciate the fact that Goulet has samples, and I think they were one of the first places that did samples. But they're just so tiny. They're such tiny little samples. And I'm just realizing that I don't have any of my sample holders near me. Oh, I think I might have one behind me. I'm going to go ahead and write this. Robert Oster. This is such a pretty purple. Go-Go. And a cool name, too. Okay, let me see if I can find a holder here. Actually, this is the tilt well that Sarah sent me, and you can see it's full of samples. Oh my goodness. The samples are like tribbles. They just keep multiplying. Everywhere I look, there are more samples. So let me empty this guy out. Oh, well, I'm trying to think where these samples came from. Oh, okay. These were samples that somebody else sent me. All right. Samples, samples everywhere. Okay, so we're going to set this guy in here. Wait, did we like that one or did we like the other side? I think I like the other side better. Okay. Okay, the sample is now secure, so fear not. And I'm going to dip this guy again just because he might have dried out a little bit. I really like this purple. I have my eye on so many Robert Oster blues. There's so many blues that I like, I can't hardly decide which ones I want, but man, this purple is gorgeous. And it's drying on the paper very interestingly. Can you see that? It's got some different tones in it. Of course, that might be the paper, but that is so pretty. Okay, so we're going to set him aside to dry. And, oh, we have to do our little top here. I don't think I completely dried out the swab. Oh, that is so beautiful. I've got to put that on my wish list. Not on my buy list. I'm trying not to buy so many inks anymore. It's very, very difficult, let me tell you. I think I might be done buying pens, maybe. Although I do have some that I haven't unpacked yet. I'm so bad about doing that. Somebody pointed out to me that if I order a package and there's something wrong with it, but I haven't opened it in 3 months, how am I going to tell the retailer, oh, I just hadn't opened the package for 3 months and now I'm coming to you with a problem? They're probably not going to believe me. So I need to get better about opening my packages. But I do have several packages that I need to open. So we will get around to that. Okay, so what did we say this was? This is Faber Castell Burnt Orange. Castell. Ooh, the table's wiggling. Burnt orange. These Faber Castell inks are actually quite nice. I didn't really pay much attention to them because I don't hear other people talking about them a lot. I hear a little bit about the Graf von Faber-Castell inks, which are the higher end inks. But these are quite nice. Ooh, let's get a good soak in there. See, that's a really pretty orange. And it looks like it might have some nice shading. I'd need to put this in a pen and write with it a bit to see what it looks like on paper, but that's really pretty. Not getting much of a drip. Nope. He does not want to drip. But that's okay, because that might give us some different information. Okay. Yeah, we had some nice oranges last week. We did a pumpkin, and I don't remember what else we did. Let's see. Well, that's Gus. That's pumpkin right there. And what else did we have? I thought we had another one. Who are you? Oh, Corneline d'Egypte. But I think that was the week before. Anyway, I have several oranges in my repertoire. Let's see. Okay, so the last one in this rack, very exciting. This is Diatrementus Document Urban Gray. Ooh, Yes, wow, it looks kind of grainy. Of course, again, it's probably been sitting in this rack for a while, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it seems granular. Can you see the little granules in there? I don't know. I know some people like to write, excuse me, with permanent inks, and I know Diatrementus has quite a line of permanent inks, but I don't think I've used any of them. I haven't used a lot of Diatrementus inks, and I certainly haven't used any of the permanent ones. Okay, and if anybody's wondering with this tilt well, I showed this before in another video. It goes this way, you know, this is on the bottom, and this foot helps hold it up, and it has a little divot here that you can put smaller bottles or samples in, but if you turn it around, the divot on this side is bigger, and I feel like it's more secure for a sample. So I've actually turned it over, and it works very well that way. Just in case anybody was wondering. Okay. So here is our swatch card. Let's get it in there a little bit. I always get ink on the section of the pen. Okay. So this is goodness, did I get some ink on there? Has this stuff gone bad? It seems kind of watery. I don't know, I've never used this ink before. And like I said, it's probably been sitting for a while. But we're going to try it. Diatrementus. Ooh, I'm just not getting anything. Okay, I'm just going to stick the nib all the way down in there. Let me try that again. Diatrementus. I don't know if any of you are familiar with these document inks. Let me know if they seem grainy to you, because this seems grainy. Can you see that? It's like liquid. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like liquid with particles in it. Yeah, you can kind of see that. I don't think that's normal. I don't know. I think we might have some ink separation here. But I'm going to try to swatch it and see what it looks like. And I'm trying to think how old this sample might be. It could be a couple of years old. I don't think this is one that I ordered on purpose. I think this might have been a surprise sample that the Goulet sent me, because I love to do those little surprise me samples. You just add a couple of samples to your order, and you never know what you're going to get. Yeah, there's definitely something bad going on there. So I'm just going to put him aside. Well, that makes me sad. Our final ink sample for this rack is just bad. Okay, so we're going to put him away somewhere else. And we're going to put this rack away because we're all done with the rack. We have sampled all of these inks, so yay us, woohoo! And I'm going to get out another rack. A whole empty rack. Now, just for your information, this rack came from Goulet Pens, and this rack I got off of Amazon. And if you'll notice, if you can see my hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the Goulet racks are very nice. I'm not saying anything against the Goulet racks, but if you have a lot of samples, like some of us do, you might want to go on Amazon and get the bigger racks, but just make sure that you're ordering the correct size, because these are, well, I think both of them are made for test tubes, but you have to get the size that fits the sample test tube size. Does that make sense? You have to get the size rack that fits the sample vials. And at the moment, I'm not sure what that size is, but I can figure it out and put it down in the comments. Because I know on Amazon sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what size the rack is. And I think some of them even come, it's like a 2-pack with different sizes. Although this one, it has smaller holes. It comes with 3 pieces. And I didn't mean to go off on a tangent here, but it has 3 pieces. And the first 2 pieces are the same size, and then this bottom one is smaller. So it kind of, well, these aren't lined up. This is a bad example. Anyway, the smaller hole on the bottom kind of holds the vial in place, supposedly. So maybe you can flip it around if you have smaller test tubes. I'm not sure. Anyway, that was just a complete ramble, and I don't know if that was helpful at all, but you don't have to buy the sample racks from the ink retailers if you don't want to. You can find them other places, and they are a little bit cheaper. But just make sure you're ordering the right things. Okay, so here's this box of things that I've been gathering. So, this might be a little noisy. I'm going to get out all of these random samples that I've been collecting. I'm telling you what, they're multiplying when I'm not looking. Everywhere I turn, there's an ink sample. So I've just been putting all of them in this box. Oh, there's a troublemaker sample. I've just been putting them in this box to kind of gather them all into the same place. And these little paper things are just flying. Oops, one just fell on the floor. But these are the old labels I put on the top, and they do not stick. So they've all kind of fallen into the bottom of this box. Well, let's see. There's just all kinds of stuff in this box. My goodness. And there's a knife in the box. I don't know why there's a knife in there. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, so that's all for that box. And where's that sample that I dropped? Oh, that was one of the ones that I mixed. I was doing, what was I doing? I was doing some ink mixing, and I was mixing different pinks and blues. Oh, I think I was trying to duplicate Annie's mix that a friend had sent Chris signs. So I was mixing different pinks and blues. So I did several videos about those, so I won't include those in my ink swatching. And then these are my little troublemaker samples. They used to do samples on the site, but they're not doing them anymore, I don't think. And these are just, whoops, these are just little 1 milliliter samples. So I have a little dish that I keep those in. And I don't even know how these got in this box, because they're so tiny that, like I said, I keep them in a little dish on my desk. Okay, so I'm just going to start putting these in the rack, and I'm not going to pay attention to what order I'm putting them in. I'm just filling up the rack, and we are going to see what we get. It'll be a surprise. Oh, there's another one that I mixed. Gosh, I did a bunch of those, didn't I? Okay, so these were all the ones from the box. And then, so these are older ones that I've had for a while. And then I have all of these brand new ones that I haven't even taken out of the bag yet. So I'm going to put these in the rack too. And we'll get around to swatching those at some point. And I'm not looking at them either. I don't even remember what I've ordered. Who knows how long ago it was that I ordered these things. But let me tell you, there's a bunch of them. So I'm just going to keep filling up the rack. And this is more than will fit in this rack, but that's okay. We can swatch inks even if they are not in a rack. Ooh, can I do it two-handed? Maybe. And I've bought these from all different retailers. I get a lot from Van Ness because they have the larger sizes, and Pen Chalet. But if I'm ever ordering something from Goulet, I'll throw a couple of samples in the order. And these blue, well, the blue lids generally mean Pen Chalet. But these two were in the bag together, and one had a white lid and one had a blue lid, so they're not always from Pen Chalet. Okay, so we need one more to go in here. I got a couple of extras that won't fit. And there's probably some more samples floating around here somewhere. But that's okay. We will get to them eventually. Okay, so we have a full rack. All right, well, this is very exciting. We're starting on rack number 3. Let's see. Make a little space over here. Okay. All right, well, this is exciting for me too because I don't know what any of these are. Okay, this is Kobe 14 Maya Purple. And this is from Anderson Pens. And he needs a little sticker. Yeah, different retailers carry different inks. I mean, some of them everybody carries, like Noodlers and Diamine. But then there's some other inks that are a little bit harder to find. And, gosh, I have been trying to get some more Mont Blanc samples. Because I would like to eventually buy a bottle of Mont Blanc ink, but they're a little bit more expensive, so I want to try them out before I, commit to buying one, but they are so hard to find. Anderson has them. I need to look at the name of this. Kobe, or I guess it's Kobe. Kobe 14 Maya Purple. But anyway, I want to get some Mont Blanc inks, but I would like to try them out before I buy a bottle. And Sarah over at Fountain Pen Insanity sent me a sample of Irish Green, which is so beautiful. And you'll all be happy to know that I put the Irish Green in my, what is it, the Pelican, I think it's the Pelican M205 in Olivine, which was the pen of the year a few years ago. And I'm really enjoying it. I didn't realize it. I've been going back and looking through my pens, and I didn't realize it, but I had inked that pen up months ago with that Irish Green, and I just haven't been using it. So I finally started using it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I don't know if it's just me giving the pen another chance, or if the Mont Blanc ink is really great ink, but I've been enjoying it. I think this is the right swab. I keep forgetting to swab the lid before I put it aside, and then sometimes it gets mixed in with the other swabs. And I think Gus is making go outside noises at me, so we might have to take a little break here in a second, but we'll see. Oh, that is lovely. We're going to let him dry. And then, who is next? Monteverde Yosemite Green. Trying to think. Do I have a bottle of this? I have a few Monteverde inks. I'm going to go ahead and switch off his sticker, because those other stickers are just horrible. But I have several Monteverde inks, but I don't know if I have any bottles of green. I have Diamine Sherwood Green. Anyway, we're gonna pretend that I don't have a bottle of this. I don't remember if I do or not, but we're just gonna say that I don't. Okay. Woo. I got way down in there. I got some ink on my pen. I gotta wipe it off. Okay. So what did we say this was? Monteverde, and I don't remember. Yosemite Green. Yosemite Green. Does anybody else sound out words to help them spell them correctly? I do that all the time. Let me see. Q-tip. And I think green inks are really pretty. I just don't have that many of them. I keep getting seduced by all the blues, and the blues are the ones I end up buying, and then consequently I don't have many greens. I'm trying to think which bottles of green I have. I've got Sherwood Green. Is that the only one I have? I have a bottle of Private Reserve Spearmint, but I didn't notice it when I bought the bottle. The bottle is actually, the lid is cracked. So I need to buy a new bottle to put that ink in so it doesn't get all dried out. But I did see that Private Reserve inks are back in production, so that's nice. Nice for us. I don't know if they've changed their formulations or not. I haven't heard that much information about it yet. But I'm glad that the company didn't go under. And they do have some really pretty inks. Some of them are a little, I don't want to say tough on your pens, but they have a more aggressive formula, I suppose. This is another Birmingham ink, and this is Truss Blue. And of course this has a longer name than Truss Blue, but just for the sake of the sample, that was all they put on here. And I wonder if Birmingham is going to go back to having samples, because those are so helpful. I mean, Birmingham inks are pretty reasonable. So even if you bought a bottle and didn't like it, it wouldn't be so much money that you were out, but still. It's always better to try out an ink before you buy it. Now, do I follow my own advice? No, I do not. you can tell that from, well, no, I buy samples and then I don't try them, and then I buy the bottle. So then I have all these samples that I've never used, plus I have bottles. It's so crazy. Truss Blue. Well, this is a very nice blue. It's kind of a softer, more purpley blue. Let me see. Oh yes, that's very nice. My poor Q-tip is trying to fall apart on me. I bet we'll get a good drip out of this one. Whew. Yep. Okay, very nice. Oh, and I forgot to do his swatch on top. Okay. Woo. All right. Next we have Califolio Granat. Oh, you know what? That came in my ink flight. So I didn't realize I had this one, but I'm not going to swatch him because I've already done that. So I'm going to put him aside, but that means I get to pick out another one of our mystery samples that I didn't have room for. So that's exciting. Okay, and this one is Robert Oster Gracies. Ooh, and they do a little swatch on top at Pen Chalet. And I've been looking at this one, and honestly, I forgot that I had a sample. I need to organize my samples better. But I have been trying to update my listings on the Fountain Pen Companion, because there were just so many things that I had that were not on there, and it's not helpful if you don't keep it updated. Let's see, that's very pretty. It's a really nice blue-gray. Okay. Ooh, these Q-tips are really fuzzy. That's very pretty. I saw a video recently from Inky Rocks, and she was talking about ink additives. That was a very interesting video. I need to get some of that White Lightning and try it out. Oh, our label's already done, but I usually like to do a little bit more just to make sure that the colors match. But I love these Robert Oster colors, but they seem a little dry. So I'm hoping that a little ink additive will help them flow a bit better. Although I think I heard somebody say recently that you could use just a little dab of dishwashing liquid. So I might have to try that too. Okay, this is Colorverse Vortex Motion. Ooh, I love Colorverse inks. They have the most interesting names, and they're beautiful colors too. I'm going to go ahead and replace his label. That was one of the older labels that doesn't like to hold on. All right. Ooh, that's really dark. And it's a Goulet sample, so I really got to get down in there. Uh-oh. I've gotten it all over the pen. Goodness gracious. Don't waste the ink, don't waste the ink. Wow, it's really dark. So is this one supposed to be a black? Colorverse Vortex Motion. Looks like there might be some other things going on in there. But then I always think there are, so who knows? Let's see, we need a Q-tip. It seems kind of purpley. I don't know if you can see that, but in the vial it looks like a dark purpley burgundy sort of. But writing with it, it seems really black. Yeah, I'm seeing some red edges. Well, my goodness, this is the craziest looking ink. We're going to get a little bit more to drip on there. I bet this guy will have an interesting drip. Wow, that is fascinating. Can you see that? It's like black and red at the same time. Crazy. Okay, get his lid. I'm sitting back by my window today because there's actually some sunshine, which is a miracle. And now that the days are getting a bit longer, the light is a little bit better. So hopefully I'll be able to film with some natural light now. Because artificial light just doesn't do it. Just doesn't cut it. Wow, that is crazy looking. Now it's starting to look green around the edges. See right there? That looks kind of green. Crazy. Okay, I wasn't impressed by this ink at first, but now it looks amazing. Cool. I can't wait to see that when it dries. Okay, who's next? Monteverde Olivine. Ooh, we're going to give him a new label. So anyway, I just swatched the Olivine, and I have the Pelican Olivine, and I think I might like this one better than the Pelican, because the Pelican inks are a little bit drier, but I really need to try that ink in some different pens and give it another chance, because I think I've only put it in that Pelican pen that it came with. And I didn't like writing with the pen, with that ink, and I just assumed that I didn't like the pen or the ink, but now that I've put the Irish green in the Pelican and I'm really enjoying it, that tells me that maybe I need to put this, not this, but, you know, that Pelican ink in a different pen. But that's a very nice green, that Olivine. Okay. How many inks have we done here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we'll do 2 more. Here is Noodlers Squeaty. That is such a fun word to say. I don't know where that comes from, but it is just a funny word. Squeaty. It's something in New England. I don't know. Okay. Let's get a little bit of ink here. See if I can get some a little bit closer to the nib. And yes, I have soaked the nib. I'm sure that won't cause any problems at all. Noodlers Squeaty. I think one of the Goulet staff members said that this was her favorite ink. Gosh, I miss the Goulet videos. I know they're busy, and I know they're trying to do the social distancing and everything, but I just miss them. I rewatched a video today. It was the 100th episode of Right Now, where Brian went around and asked all the different employees what inks they were writing with. That is my absolute favorite video. I wish they would make another one like that. It's always fun to see what pens and inks people are using. And of course, at the time, the Lamy Crystal inks had just come out. So like half the staff had a crystal ink in their pens, which I thought was funny. Wow, it's a really dark teal, and that's very pretty. Okay, what did we say? One more? Only one more. But there will be plenty for us to do next time. Okay, this is Diamine Classic Green. Ooh, and he needs a new little sticker. Ooh, his lid is on really tight. My goodness. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like there might be some around the lip of the sample. Ooh, yeah, there was a lot around the lip of the sample. And he seems kind of smelly. I don't know. We'll see how this guy does. If I don't like the looks of him, he will just go bye-bye. I'm used to the Noodlers ink smelling funny, but I'm not used to the Diamine inks smelling, not funny, just chemically, if that makes sense. Because heaven only knows what kind of chemicals they put into these things to make them work. And what is this? Classic green. Because they have to have the dyes to make the color, and then they have to have like fungicides to keep stuff from growing in them, and they have to have lubricants to make them flow. There's just all kinds of components in them. And I find it fascinating, and I keep talking about it, but one day I will try to make some ink. One day, many years from now, I will try to make some ink. Because it just looks like fun. I think on Pens and Tea one time, she got a Japanese ink making kit for like Japanese brush calligraphy, and it's just kind of a block of dye, and she scraped it into a bowl, or she like scraped it around the edge of a bowl and put water in it to make the ink, which is, it seems like a very ancient method of making ink, but it was pretty cool. Okay, well, he is just not going to run, which makes me wonder, because it seems like, doesn't it seem like Diamine inks are usually pretty flowy? I don't know. Gotta wonder about this guy, because that Diatrementus, that document ink, did not turn out very well. But we'll let this guy dry and see how he does. The ink just soaked right into the lid. That was interesting. Okay, so we're going to give these guys a chance to dry, and we will come back and see what we've got. Here we are back to check out our inks. So first up we have Robert Oster Go-Go. And there is a little tiny bit of sheen on this, but it's hard to see. I was hoping by being at the window that we could see the sheen better. But it's just not showing up. It's a teeny little bit of orange sheen right around that dark area. So, of course, since it's so hard to see the sheen now, with, you know, a lot of ink on there, then you probably wouldn't see much when you were writing with it. Alright, this is Faber Castell Burnt Orange. This is a very nice orange. And I see a lot of shading in the letters, so I think this would shade very nicely when you write with it. Very nice. And then we have the Kobe 14 Maya Purple. And this one has some sheen too. Can we see that sheen? A little bit. This one has more sheen than the Go-Go did. So I would say this is, a sheening ink. Can I see any on the letters? I see some nice shading on the letters, but I don't see any sheen. Alright, then we have Monteverde Yosemite Green. And this one has quite a bit of sheen, and I think you can see that a little bit better. Some nice red sheen on there. And some nice shading on the letters too. This is a very pretty green. Of course, my favorite green would probably have to be California Teal. Even though the name says it's teal, to me it looks green, and that is a beautiful shader and a beautiful sheener. I love that ink so much. Here is Birmingham Pen Truss Blue. And this also has a bit of some pinkish sheen, which I don't think we'll be able to see. But this is a very pretty blue. I like that a lot. I see a little bit of shading, not too much. And then next up we have Robert Oster Gracies. And this is a beautiful blue-gray. I don't see a whole lot of shading in the letters, but again, I don't think a glass pen is the best way to tell those kinds of things. But that color is just beautiful. I love it. It's a nice blue-gray. A very cool gray. Let's see if we can move these guys up a little bit. Alright, next up we have Colorverse Vortex Motion. And this was that crazy ink that was like black and red and green. Now you could see the green sheen on this. It's sheening like crazy. I don't see that red color too much anymore, but when I was swatching the ink when it was still wet, it had an undertone of red. This is some crazy looking ink. I think I might have to put this in a pen just to see what it does. Very interesting. And it doesn't really look black now. It looks more like a dark gray. Very cool. I love Colorverse inks. They're so interesting. Alright, here is Monteverde Olivine. And this has some kind of dark looking sheen on it. I would say that looks almost purple. It's very interesting. But it's a pretty olive green. Very nice. And then we have Noodlers Squeaty. And you know, Noodler's inks are not known for sheening, but there is some sheening around this dark area here, and I think you can see that a little bit. Some kind of reddish sheen. It's always hard for me to tell if the sheen is red or pink or orange, because they're so close. It's hard to tell. But definitely some reddish sheen going on there. Very cool. And it's a very nice dark teal ink, even without the sheen. I like that ink very much. Alright, and finally, we have Diamine Classic Green. And there might be a touch of sheen on there, just a touch. But, I don't know if I would call this classic green. It's closer to an olive green. The olivine is definitely darker, but I would say they're certainly in the same family. And then here's the Monteverde Yosemite green. I would say this one is closer to a true green. You know, like a Crayola crayon kind of green. Ooh, and the camera doesn't want to focus. Come on, camera. That's better. But yeah, I don't know if I would call that classic green. That's closer to an olive green to me, but still nice. Alrighty, well that is our swatching for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.